She believed all eyes were on her until a human showed what really matters. Leora walked through the grand hall of the Interstellar Council, her steps echoing softly against the polished metallic floor. Every eye in the room seemed fixed on her, the way she had always imagined. Tall, elegant, with a presence that commanded attention, she had trained her entire life for this moment, the moment she would represent the Zalari people at the Galactic Summit. Every council member, every ambassador, every observer, Leora believed they were here to see her. The walls shimmered with projections of distant galaxies, showing the reach of her civilization. Robots scurried quietly along the edges, maintaining order. Alien dignitaries with skin like liquid silver and eyes that glowed softly whispered among themselves as she passed. Leora smiled, believing their murmurs were about her grace, her intelligence, her brilliance. But she didn't notice the human at the back of the hall. A human ambassador, barely more than a shadow among the grandeur, sitting quietly. He looked ordinary, slightly hunched, wearing a simple uniform, not flashy like everyone else. His name was Jonah. And at that moment, Leora didn't notice him. Not yet. The council meeting began. Discussions of new technologies, trade agreements, and peace treaties filled the room. Leora stood confidently, presenting the Zalari plan to expand their solar energy network across newly discovered star systems. Her words were precise, her tone commanding. She imagined the admiration, the silent awe. Surely, everyone was impressed. Yet, as the discussion continued, something strange happened. Jonah, the human, raised his hand. His voice was soft but clear, and it cut through the room like a quiet ripple in a storm. "Your plan is impressive," he said, "but it focuses only on energy output. What about the living beings who inhabit those star systems? Their safety, their homes, their lives?" A hush fell over the hall. Aliens who had been nodding politely now exchanged curious glances. Leora felt her confidence waver. She had never thought about the impact on life forms. They were, after all, a small consideration in her culture, where efficiency and progress always came first. I thought efficiency and technology were most important," Leora stammered, her voice betraying her pride. Jonah's eyes were calm, unassuming. "Efficiency is valuable," he said, "but it is not everything. We exist to protect life, not just to expand power or influence. If you forget that, you risk destroying what matters most." For the first time, Leora felt a pang of doubt. She glanced around the room and noticed something she hadn't before. Some of the council members looked uneasy, others thoughtful, but no one was staring at her with the admiration she had imagined. They were thinking, reflecting. And Jonah, the quiet human, was the one making them do it. Days passed. Leora found herself walking the city streets of the Zalari capital, thinking about Jonah's words. The Zalari cities were marvels, towering spires of glass and metal, glowing softly under artificial suns, but they were almost entirely devoid of nature. Life existed in carefully controlled zones, nothing more. The thought of entire planets filled with living beings being ignored in the pursuit of expansion made her stomach twist. Then, she received a message: a humanitarian mission had gone wrong on a nearby planet. Leora was asked to oversee the rescue operation. She expected it to be routine, a demonstration of her skills. But when she arrived, the reality hit her. Entire communities of creatures lived on that planet, delicate and fragile. The Zalari technology was efficient, yes, but it was harsh, almost violent to life unprepared for such force. And there was Jonah again, coordinating efforts with his team. Humans, she realized, were not the most advanced or most powerful species in the galaxy, but they had something she had underestimated: compassion, creativity, a way of seeing value in beings that others considered insignificant. Jonah didn't command respect with presence or prestige. He inspired it with care. Leora watched as Jonah saved a group of creatures trapped in a collapsed habitat. He didn't use the most powerful tools. He didn't make a show of it. He worked patiently, talking softly, moving slowly, understanding what each being needed. The Zalari drones, powerful and fast, could have finished the job in minutes, but they would have hurt many creatures in the process. Jonah's careful, human way took hours, but no life was lost. Something inside Leora shifted. She realized she had spent her life seeking admiration, believing that brilliance was shown through spectacle. But here, in the quiet of Jonah's actions, she saw something more important. True leadership, true greatness, was measured not by attention, but by care. Weeks later, at the next council meeting, Leora spoke again. This time, her presentation was different. She proposed a revised energy expansion plan, one that considered the ecosystems and inhabitants of every system. Her voice was confident, but softer, kinder. She no longer sought the eyes of the council on her. She sought the well-being of those her work would affect. After her speech, Jonah smiled at her from across the room. Leora nodded. She didn't need to hear the applause, and she didn't crave the gaze of the council anymore. For the first time, she understood that attention was fleeting, but compassion was lasting. Her people began to follow her new vision. Zalari cities integrated living habitats into their designs. Technology advanced alongside care for life. And Leora? She learned that being truly seen wasn't about having all eyes on her, it was about making choices that truly mattered. By the time the next Galactic Summit arrived, Leora walked into the hall with quiet confidence. Jonah was there, watching, as always unassuming. But this time, Leora no longer felt small in his shadow. She felt inspired. And she knew that her brilliance would be measured, not by who watched her, but by what she had done to protect the life she had once overlooked. For the first time in her life, she wasn't performing for the universe, she was living for it. And in that, she found a power far greater than any admiration.